Hey there everybody, DeBolis here, aka John here, talking about the iiRcade home cabinet that got released earlier this year, probably Kickstarter, but you can go out and buy this on Walmart, Amazon, or on the iiRcade website right now. For those that are familiar with it, this is a premium arcade cabinet that comes with 12 games initially, but you can add more by going to their arcade store, the iiRcade store, and downloading titles. There's over 220 retro, classics, modern, indies, ColecoVision, old, and a whole lot more. I'm going to go over a couple of my favorite games on it right today with you. Some are hidden gems, some are more well known. But definitely this is a great machine, really great premium quality. I have the 64 gig Kickstarter edition, which included the standard sticks and buttons, but there's 120 gig you can get with better sticks and buttons. But to me, these ones all serve the purpose. It's got a lot of game time from it. It's got that 1.2 gigawatts of power for the speakers, 100 watt speakers, which sets apart compared to other arcade machines. You'll hear about a little bit from it, but I won't go too loud because I want to bust out your eardrums. We got, like I said, you have 12 titles built in. 2 came bonus. One was through a stretch goal with Kickstarter, which is Bomb Squad, and also Looping just came free as a part of a Father's Day gift that John, the CEO of the company, gave us during his live stream. But here's a couple of the games. I do have 32 total, including the 12 that comes with it, so I've bought 20 of them already. All different titles. Dragon's Lair franchise are all on here. Double Dragons. You got wrestling titles. You got R-Type series games on here. So they've been getting these light heavy-duty franchises, adding more on a weekly basis. But we're going to check out a couple of my favorite games. To kick things off, Mug Smashers. It's a really hidden gem on this machine. I didn't know much about it from Pico Interactive. It's a beat 'em up a la Final Fight, so definitely I suggest this if you like those style of games. To me, it's my favorite beat 'em up that's out in the arcade machine here. It's 2-player co-op beat 'em up, but the cool thing I like about this one, because the aesthetic, if you look at the actual characters and stuff, especially the main guys, you got Axel and Miles. First player is always Axel, second player is always Miles. Let's add our coins on here. You got your coin button. You got your volume controls. You actually have a pause button so you actually can pause it. So you're in the middle of the game, you can go like that. But you gotta save the girl, which is always a traditional story thing. But I like the actual aesthetic of the characters too. For those that are a fan of games like WrestleFest back in the day, if you look at them, they're like muscle-bound versions. Obviously, they're not actually like Hulk Hogan or the Macho Man or Warrior, but they look like they'd be pulled away from a game, or like he's like the jobber guys you would fight from. Well, you just go around, you can punch, you can press B and kick, or you can C and kick, or you can like that. And it's drop in, drop out, so if you want to, obviously you can hit start one. Here comes Miles. One thing you gotta be careful for, there's actually, which I found out, because I haven't played too much 2 players until I tried to test it out like that, you actually can beat each other up by accident, so you gotta be careful with that. Streets of Rage and stuff like that, some things you actually have like, or you actually can do that type of style of stuff. To me, so this is a great get, really hidden gem, really fun game. Not too hard for actual beat 'em up game compared to some of those harder games out, Streets of Rage, Final Fight, stuff like that. The cool thing about this machine, we're getting some newer titles, the new Toe Jam and Earl, Back in the Groove, which has been on PS4, Switch, PC, that's coming here. Just announced Mutant League Football is coming here. My fault, Mutant Football League. Mutant League Football is the original Genesis version. Sorry about that, but it's the same developers behind it. It's just they're not with EA now doing it. So that just got announced over the weekend for E3, so I can't wait for that. There's all different titles. To me, I love Contra games like that, Mercs from back in the day. As you see at top of me, I got my bad boys Bill and Lance up here from the Contra franchise. If you like Contra 2, definitely check out Outzone. This is, thankfully, I think it was Jeff Rainwater that actually talked about this in the iiRcade community. If it was somebody else, I'm sorry. I'm almost positive he was the one that was. But it's a top-down shooter a la Merc, those type of style games. But to me, I find to like this game a little bit more than Contra. I hate to say it. Contra is nostalgic to me. Growing up, one of the best games on the NES I always played. But like I said, this was a great one. As you see, you got a little gameplay here. 2 players, which is awesome. That's the cool thing about this one. You got the 2-player joysticks. You can always have 2 players. This meant to be played 2 players. This iiRcade machine, definitely. Let's certain coins, hit the home player stuff. I'll give you a little bit of gameplay until we move on to the next game, because I don't want to keep you too long. But you can hear the volume control. Hear that kicking butt like that, but It's 8-way directional, which is awesome with this game. The cool thing about this iiRcade is 8-way directional joystick. You get a 1-year warranty, which is kind of unheard of with these companies with these ones. Usually it's a little bit like, but due to that, you cannot like open it up and change it, put restrictor gates on, because like all the hardware is actually inside of here compared to the behind it, like the arcade 1-up machine. But the thing is, like games, if you don't have, like if it's like a 4-way, like Kung Fu Master, stuff like that, you can use these awesome restrictors that I got from iiRcade. Be like you put it down here and just push it down, and it will make it so it is only that way. So these ones work great, so definitely give him a look out if you do get an iiRcade machine. He does make it for other machines like the At Games Legends, stuff like that. So he just makes stuff for other machines, but definitely I love it for that type of style stuff. And finally, my favorite game on this machine is the Heavy Hitter. It just came out recently. Top selling game on iiRcade. Arcade's been around 6 months. I got this like right after Christmas last year for the Kickstarters. And this game just came out recently. 2 days, I sold every other title. You love it so much. I got my stickers down here. I got from actually meeting Mike Herman at E3 PAX East last year. Going to his booth, played this game way early. I'm a big fan of this game ever since it got announced. Before it even got announced for iiRcade, once I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh. I was already into iiRcade by the time, thanks to Cool Toy back in the day for covering it at CES. He's the reason I watched this video. I heard about this company. I decided to back them. I'm glad I did, because I saw the passion John had, and I'm glad I did. But the cool thing with Retromania Wrestling, compared to some of the other games out there, they actually, it's a full-fledged, it's a retro title aesthetic, but it's actually a modern game. This is a cool thing about it. There's a lot of titles on here like this, but this one sets it beyond for what you get out. You get 2 single-player modes with story mode and 10 pounds of gold. 10 pounds of gold is your standard 10-man ladder match where you're going through the different matches to win the title. Story mode, actually you make choices, who you get to wrestle with and all that stuff. Retro Rumble, which is your Royal Rumble, where 2 guys start in the ring every some amount of time. You can adjust that too, which is cool. It's all 16 men. There's 16 legends on this game. There's a cool thing about this game. You got your Legion of Doom, the Blue World Order, Colt Cabana. So you have 2 a day stars in AEW, WWE, well, former WWE, because most of these guys, well, John Morrison's back in WWE, but Johnny Retro in here. So a mix of all different stars, indie stars, especially Warhorse, who's a big member of the iiRcade community, which is awesome. You got Chris Bay, who's another Impact Wrestling star, who is actually going to be the first free DLC character. James Storm, Mr. Hughes are coming as paid DLC, but they're supposed to be not too expensive, according to Mike Herman. New rings are kind of free updates, so it's like there's free updates, there's going to be paid updates, but this game is well worth the price of admission. We're never going to see WrestleFest on any machine, really, whether it be iiRcade, Arcade 1-Up, just the licensing with that game. Because you have to have the license contract for all the current wrestlers that's on that game, and Demolition hate WWE, and vice versa, so you're never going to see that. Plus, you have to have the WWF logo paid for and all that stuff, which you don't have the rights to right now. As much as I want WrestleFest, if they got an iiRcade or they got Arcade 1-Up, I'll buy it day one, but no, we got in here. But the cool thing about this game is, you couldn't play as Legion of Doom in WrestleFest. You could play as Ultimate Warrior, Ted DiBiase, and all them. These are like the bosses of the tag team mode. But no, you can play as them. You can do the Doomsday device. The cool thing about it is not only this is actually like the best version of the game, because Mike Herman took his extra time with the game. As you see, the up-close view, this is only on the arcade version, which is awesome. You have this up-close view where it's up farther before that going back. So it's almost like that arcade WrestleFest view. But also I'll show you the other thing. But yeah, this game is really fun to play. A little bit harder for those that are more used to WrestleFest. I'll flat admit there are some new mechanics with the Fire Pro Wrestling, but it's easy to get used to, and once you get used to it, you're going to love it. Another thing that's exclusive to iiRcade is the leaderboards. While there's no online yet for this game, there are talks about adding it. We have the online leaderboards where you actually play against, you pick the matches and how many wins, you get your name up on the board. These are some of the members of the iiRcade community, I know. We got Dev and all that stuff where they actually are able to, like, they got the wins and all that stuff, which is crazy, and some are just already pre-built into them. So that's a cool thing. You have that built into this one. So this makes the best game of this best version of this game. So definitely. And then in lieu of Jong, actually, I have one more thing. Actually, one more game. I'm going to go over really fast. Rage of Dragons, if you want a fighting game, this is the top fighter of me in this arcade, iiRcade right now. Personally, really fun fighting game, a la Neo Geo SNK type style stuff. 2-on-2 versus a la Marvel vs. Capcom. John constantly keeps bringing new titles, new franchises, getting retro stuff, Space Invaders Extreme. He's bringing, like I said, ToeJam and Earl's coming, Mutant Football League. He's getting all these stuff, old titles, new titles. They're gradually coming. It's going to take him time to get the heavy hitters like a Street Fighter. But definitely, as of right now, I would definitely suggest this game. It's definitely well worth the price of admission. For those not sure, familiar with this game, Rage of Dragons was originally supposed to be a Double Dragons fighting game. But due to the fact they lost the license before the game came out, they had to drop that, and they just called Rage of Dragons. But they got some really cool fighters in here. But it's definitely well worth it. Definitely recommend this. So definitely go get this game. I'll show you a little bit of footage and then I'll wrap up. But there are so many great choices on the game. The good thing about iiRcade, there's something for everybody. From retro to modern, from kids to adults. Beach Buggy Racing 2 just came out. So if you like Mario Kart, those games, your family, your kids will love that. They even have iiRcade specially themed machines. I have the standard one, but they have Retromania Wrestling. They just announced Beach Buggy Racing 2 and Space Ace. Mutant Football League's got one coming too, so if you like football aesthetic, and like I said, so you got that coming. So you're gonna have, if you want the standard one, you can have one mine look like, so you can get that one, or you can get that. But yeah, that's definitely a game. It's like hard for me to play one player and show it off, but yeah, it's just like overall, definitely well worth it for this fighter. Definitely hands down my favorite fighting game on this game. Like I said, I only have 30 games. Like I said, the cool thing is, but I don't like this game. You play it and you don't like it. The cool thing is you have that 30-minute trial where when you buy the game, you have 30 minutes to go back on your app, or if you go onto the iStore on the website and say, hey, I don't want it, you get your money back. So you can test it out without actually having to buy it, which is the cool thing. But definitely, if you haven't already, check out this arcade machine. Well worth the price of admission. John is very open with a lot of stuff. He does a weekly-based stream where he talks about the new games coming out, the updates, what's going on. There's been issues with the not internals, but like the software, like how it runs sometimes and stuff. And they go and fix it. He gets his teammates on it. There's updates. The cool thing with Wi-Fi, you can go hook this bad boy to Wi-Fi. You see I'm already connected, and you get updates to the machine. So, or updates to the games. There's something wrong with the game, they'll fix it. John listens to the community. He keeps adding new stuff. He wants to bring every major arcade. He wants to keep constantly bringing multiple games to here, make this the ultimate arcade machine. And personally, that's what I believe it is. I have an arcade one-ups, as you see down here. They're great. They're amazing. They have some great, awesome games, but they don't get as much playtime as I do with iiRcade. So definitely, if you haven't already, give it a look. If you don't have it yet, if your friend has one, go play that one. Well worth it. You'll be hooked. I'm so glad, but until next time, this is the Bull sign out. And remember, anything is possible.